time. Hey, welcome back, folks. I'm here talking with Karen Serrano, and we were talking about, the things that you've done to help out in this particular instance. And the fact is that, when something like this happens, people do have a lot of goodness in their hearts, and they want to do something. And now that you've done it, or you're getting ready to finish it up and do the whole thing, where do you go from here? It's like, first of all, what did you learn in doing this that, hey, maybe I might want to extend it? Or what did you learn to say, boy, I don't want to do this ever again? What are some of the...
Well, I'm not saying that I don't want to do this ever again. If given the chance, I want to continue helping out these people, because it's not a one-day thing.
Right.
You can always continue to help them out.
Sure.
They will be needing help as much as we can, because rebuilding the livelihood, rebuilding their lives will take a very long time. But it's very challenging to help to ask for help, especially monetary help. It's very, very challenging. Like what I mentioned to you a while ago, this is my first time to do this. So it's very, very challenging. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to ask for people's money. So what I did was to do the fundraising event, because I think people like to party, people like to mingle, people like to socialize. So I thought it's a good venue. They're going to be socializing. They will be trying out Filipino food for those who haven't yet. It's a good chance to just dine, to jam with live music, but they're helping out. So that's the best way I could come up with. So it's very, very challenging for me, to be very honest.
And that brings up a point that I'd like to do a little ad for the Unicase, who's been on this show before, because they're going to do exactly the same thing that you're doing right now on Saturday afternoon at Unicase on the corner of General Luna and Makati Avenue. They'll be doing the same thing. You come, you'll eat. Baby M will be singing and performing there, and the proceeds will go to helping people in Tacloban as well. So we have, I think an event is a really, really good way to do things, and that's something, maybe this is a suggestion for other people who feel like, gee, I'd really like to do something. I don't know how to go about it. How do I gather the money? How do I get people to do this? Find out something that people like to do, have them come around, make sure that they're getting their money's worth just by having fun and eating, and then the extra money gets to go to the good, right?
And I was able to negotiate as well with the restaurant owner, because usually $2,500 is the usual fee to be able to avail of the buffet type of food. But because it's for charity, I was able to negotiate and say, hey, can you please just get the 1,000 yen, and then can I have the 1,500 yen?
Oh, really?
So that will go to the Typhoon
for
victims.
people there, 2,500 yen is about 1,200 pesos, probably about that. And so you were able to get them to actually give you their profits, I guess.
Right.
That was,
the owner was pretty nice.
That's
he
nice.
was willing to help out.
That's a Filipino who owns it, or it's just Filipino restaurant? But
it's a Filipino restaurant. I think he's part owner. I'm not sure, but I was negotiating with the Filipino guy who works in the restaurant.
And this is in where, Kawasaki, or?
It's in Kanay, in Yokohama.
Oh, yeah, okay, Kanay, yeah. I know the place.
So it was a very interesting evening.
And you had like 60 people came along?
Around 60, yes. I was only expecting about 30 because of the very limited time that I did all the invitation just sent through Facebook, and some personal invites I did for that very limited amount of time, 1.5 weeks. So usually, in Japan, people plan things way ahead of time.
Right.
But a lot of people gave positive response, so I was very happy.
That's one of the questions I'd like to ask, as an old guy. I'm not real great on social media yet. How many do you think of those 60 people came just because they saw it on Facebook?
Actually, I did not advertise it on Facebook.
Oh, you didn't?
I invited each of my guests personally. I sent personal emails to each of them. Some in groups, this is my group of friends whenever I'm not at Berlitz. This is some group of friends I hang out with once in a while. So I did random invites. And then when I was so close to the fundraising event date, that's when I did mass emailing. Just so I could gather as many people as I can. Yeah.
And you did twice as well as you thought you would do that.
Yes, I had.
And that's the thing that, again, I want to keep saying this, and I'm going to probably bore everybody with it, but the fact is you can do really good things with not very much. I mean, you've got to have energy, and you've got to have
the passion,
to do it, but you don't have to have money. You don't have to have a lot of money, and you don't have to gather a lot of money either because every little bit helps.
Exactly.
It really does. And you were able to come here. Thank you for coming here and being here today.
Thanks to you for inviting me.
No, and it was just through in Japanese we say guzen, you know.
Oh, guzen.
Yeah, just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Someone told me, but it was really great. And did you know anybody else that are doing the same thing there, or did you run into any networking or things there that?
No, but I do know that a lot of Filipinos in Japan are trying their best to help out. But I think most of them, they are giving the money that they collected to, let's say, for example, Red Cross or other nonprofit organizations in the Philippines. That's also good, you know. But
sure.
I promise my donors that I will be personally distributing the goods. That's why I'm doing this.
And certainly that would be the easiest if you're going to do a sell. You know, if you're
That's
selling
the best,
yourself,
yeah.
then it's a look at I'm going to be the one that's going to be doing this. So if it doesn't work out, you can come back and beat on me. You know,
right?
or
it's
whatever.
my face and my name on the line. So
for sure,
yeah.
sure, and that does make a difference to the people. It probably makes them feel a little bit better about. Are you going to when you go down there? Are you going to shoot some movies or shoot some pictures and things to take
I will
back?
be definitely taking lots of pictures for my donors.
Right, of course, and
reference.
put them up on the Facebook page. And I hope that you'll put this interview up on the Facebook page as well, and you can tell everybody that you're.
Look crazy here, so I won't feel humiliated posting this out there.
No, there's no humiliation anywhere. People, this is the thing that again, people don't really realize how much good they can do with a little bit of effort. And the fact that even if they don't get all of the things that they'd wanted, they don't have to move mountains. They only need to move just a little bit. And I've worked for the last 3 years or so with a think tank, and one of the things that we've really realized is if you really want to succeed, you've got to start at the barangay level, right at the very lowest level. And anything, if you help one family, you've done something that family wouldn't have had. And that's the hardest thing to get people to understand. It doesn't have to be really big. It doesn't have to be great, because it is great just being one thing, you know.
Right. It's just hard because, you know, like some of the people that actually gave donations to me, that gave their donations, they don't know me personally, some of them, but they still trusted me, so that really feels so good.
Sure,
it's very
sure.
heartwarming. But I don't want to ruin that trust, so I'm doing this. You know?
No, that's good. So getting back to it again, you still haven't decided, you know, whether you're going to do it anymore. But what I'd like to find out, what was the hardest part at this point? What was the hardest part of doing this, do you think?
Right now, I think that right now I can't really say anything that's too difficult except for asking for people's donations, because everything just kind of flows naturally. Everything is everything is falling into place. Let's just say that it's doing it like that, going into that direction, because like this opportunity for me to be here and be speaking about this just came up about a week before I actually left Japan because of Ed. Ed informed me about this whole thing. So it was kind of like, it's very uplifting. Like I did not plan this whole thing. Like having this TV interview was never part of the plan. And then Ed contacted me, and he informed me that his CEO, that was you, told him that I should contact you so we could talk about this whole helping out. So.
No, well, that's the whole thing, is because that's one of the nice things of being able to, I always tell people my only two assets are a smile and a big mouth, you know. And so we have, that's what the show is all about, is a smile and a big mouth, and allows people who are doing good things to be able to talk about it. And if we reach, we have an audience out there, and somebody out there will say, hey, maybe I can do that where I am, or maybe I can just go out in my own neighborhood and do something, or have an idea or whatever. And if we do that, then it's a lot bigger than just one person, isn't it?
Right.
You know?
It's nice to be able to raise awareness and at the same time inspire other people to do the same, because there are a lot of people out there still needing help. You know, this is not a one-time deal. This is not a one-day sort of like do something good just for one day. You know, hopefully I can continue this, but let's see how I can do. Well,
that's one of the big things. The name of this show is CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility, and it isn't. This is what we always talk about in CSR. it's not just going out, getting together on a Saturday afternoon, planting some trees, drinking some beer, and going home. That's not sustainability. You know, it's being able to do it. And we're going to have, there's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done, livelihood building in that area. And maybe you'll get some ideas after you see the people there and see what's going on. And that's the biggest thing, too, is that one of the sad things has happened. There's been all of this outpouring of help and goodwill from all over the world. It's extraordinary. It brings tears to your eyes, really, you know, the nice things that they're doing. But then when you get a month past or 2 months, these people still don't have homes, and they still don't. But the big thing is they don't have a livelihood, you know. And how do you build livelihoods again? And I certainly don't have any answers to those things. But certainly the rebuilding, if you're using local labor, that will provide them a livelihood in construction or rebuilding and some of the other things that go along. And so the more people that are there doing things will probably create more ideas. And I would really be interested after you've done your distribution thing, when you get back to Japan, drop me a line and let me know how things worked out, you know.
For sure,
because that's, we'd like to let everybody know that they can do the same thing.
Yeah, I am actually planning to organize another event after this whole relief goods distribution, just so I can explain to the donors how or where their money went, and also make them aware of the real situation based on my own personal experience.
Oh, that's great.
So that's my plan. Because I want them to understand fully the situation. Because right now, us being away from the country, we only rely on the media. We only rely on the news. So stories coming from me, who personally actually went, right? If I go back, then it's better.
Well, I think that's wonderful, because international reporting is awful. You know, it's just not very correct or factual or whatever a lot of the time. And because, well, when you're reporting, you've got to report sexy things, you know, like, you know, people dying and lying in death in the streets and all of the sensational things, rather than the real, gee, here are some people here, here's how they can be helped. And we don't get that on the media at all, you know.
So that's the plan. It's all planned right now. But that's what I'm thinking. That's what I have in mind. Give feedback to the donors as to how their money was able to help the victims of the typhoon, and then I'll give them. I'll be taking a lot of pictures, hopefully a lot of videos as well, so I can show them the real situation. And if they're still willing to help, then I'm still willing to do it all over again. You know. Yeah, but I need all the support I can get.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because you might come up with some ideas for sustainability, you know, for the people there, because I've forgotten how many tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that were affected.
So many of them out there affected.
And wow, that's a great idea. I hadn't thought of having a post, you know, a kind of a feedback party or
that's the plan. Just a little event, just to gather all the donors again, and just so they can see the
and they can still come around and drink and jam, right?
Of course.
So that's
we can do a part 2 of Dine and Jam for a Cause.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's really great. And so you said that you're teaching English, which is what foreigners do in Japan.
Right.
Mostly. I mean, we all started out that way, you know, teaching English. And how many Filipinos do you know who are teaching English? Are there?
Not so many.
Not so many, right?
For the longest time, I was the only Filipina in my school, but now there are 2 of us.
2 of you, okay. So this is the thing that I've been trying to convince people there. Look at, why are you sending groups to Europe and the United States that can come to the Philippines and do a month in Tagaytay or one of those places for not very much money, and have the best instruction in the world as far as English is concerned, because educated people here speak English, you know, and can teach it and can do all the other things. And the Koreans are doing that a lot. You know, the Koreans are coming. They're really coming, but I haven't been able to convince a lot of the Japanese to come yet, and I'd really like to be able to do that as well. You know?
I want to be able to do that as well, also to help the Filipinos in the Philippines you know, to have a job.
Sure. That might be another way of sustainability, or things in the teaching area as well, to bring people here and do that. And so I hope you'll contact me and let me know. We'll stay in contact after you get back, because those are other things that we can do to help people get jobs. You know, that's one of the hardest things, I think, for me, because I've been here long enough to see families who are completely broken up by the OFW system. And if we can create jobs here, they don't need to go out as OFWs.
Right.
And I would really like to see that time come again to the Philippines. And we have the talent here. We have all of the things. We just need to somehow figure out how to do it in little pieces, whether it's teaching English or feeding people or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
They have lots of things to do. The things that you're going to be mostly buying foodstuffs, right? The things
Yes.
that...
Yeah, mostly food. Initially, I was thinking of buying bangka, just to support the livelihood of the typhoon victims, but transporting that from where I will be coming from, it's going to be extremely challenging, so I just dismissed the idea.
You can't carry one of those on your back or
I
anything,
can't.
right?
It's huge, so
yeah,
it's impossible, and I don't know how to get that locally. Like in Tacloban, I don't know who to contact. I have no contacts there.
Well, there wouldn't be anything there at this point anyway, right?
So
They'd have to build one, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know.
So even if I want to do that to support the livelihood, I can't, because I don't know any way to basically
You know, that's an
transport
idea,
them, so.
though. Maybe that's maybe you could get somebody that knows how to build boats. Find out somebody that would like to provide the materials, and maybe you could go into building a boat, you know. That would be an interesting thing. Not donating a boat, but building a boat, you know.
There,
yeah,
right?
Right
and we're
there.
supporting the local
right,
the
right.
victims themselves.
And that's one of the things that I've read, you know, once something like this happens, you read all of the articles about what works and what doesn't work. But one of the most important things that I've read that everybody said, look, you've got to use local labor.
Yes.
Because you have to revive the livelihood, you know, or create livelihood. And the other thing, you need to use local materials everywhere you can rather than bringing them in if you can, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And so, yeah, Banca might be an interesting project, huh? For somebody that likes to build boats. If there's anybody out there that knows how to build a small boat and could teach people to do that, that would be a great thing, because they lost all of their boats, right?
They lost
in that
almost
area.
everything.
And that's a fishing village, I guess, in the
Yes.
very beginning. So, well, there's already an idea that's just come out of.
It wasn't.
So
It
maybe
didn't
somebody
really
out
just
there
come.
would be.
I mean, I got the idea also from some other organizations, from the internet. You know, I was researching like what the best ways are to help them.
Right.
Because I was thinking, okay, I can feed them now, but how about tomorrow? How about the days after now?
Right.
So I was thinking, how can I help them with their livelihood? So I did a lot of research. I was thinking, what's the best way to help? And one of the things that actually came up on my research is the bangka thing.
The Banca, yeah.
But I asked my mom, I was like in constant communication with my family, asking them, is there anyone we can ask to build the boats, to transport to Tacloban? And they're all saying, it's too big. How are we supposed to transport that from my hometown all the way to Tacloban?
Absolutely.
So
And that's a long-term project anyway, right? It would be something that wouldn't be something you could do in just a couple of weeks and
no, it's
put
not.
up
And I
and
didn't
get
have
it,
the
you know.
luxury of time as well.
But yeah, building, they probably need hundreds of boats at this point. I would think everything is gone anyway. And how would you, that's a great idea. Maybe somebody out there can give us a call. You know, you can get hold of me, Larry, at lbrouhard.com anytime. You can get hold of GNN here. If you've got any ideas, let us know. We'll have you on the show and we can talk about them, because that's what we're here for. And guys, I didn't think about what are other things that people would need in an area like that?
Well,
Were there any other ideas other than Banca? Or,
well, of course, we need to build their houses as well.
Houses.
First, yeah.
That was another thing that's really important, is anybody that has the idea of helping to build houses or something, local people, local materials is the only thing that works. You don't go in and somebody brings this kind of house that's a shack, and somebody brings this kind of house that looks like a mansion. Doesn't work out to have them sitting beside each other. They have to really be done locally with local labor and local materials. And again, you're creating a livelihood and getting the people. And maybe making something a little bit better that might withstand something like. But it's really, this is one of the things, you know, that I was a little upset in some of the reporting, because it seemed that people were expecting the government to be able to 3 days later fix everything. And boy, when Ma Nature gets her dander up, she can really be tough. And it doesn't matter how good or bad the government support is, nobody's going to fix it in 2 or 3 days. It's just not going to happen.
We can't fix everything overnight.
It's not going to be done. And I felt like there was some really, it's okay to be criticizing, but some of it was unfair. They said, why isn't the government here helping? Because the government's dead. Everybody, there was nothing left.
I'm pretty sure the government is helping out.
No, they are.
Yes.
No, certainly they are, and they're certainly doing the best they can.
Right.
You know.
I'm sure they're doing the best they can.
But we can help them.
We can help them as well.
And we do it on our own, and we don't have to worry about the bureaucrats or bureaucracy or anything if we do things on our own and we do it on a small level. And that's the biggest thing that I like to get across to people out there. If you take it into your own hands and you manage it yourself, you don't have to get an okay from a bureaucrat to do it.
It's difficult, but it's not impossible.
No, that's exactly right. So you're off this evening?
Yes.
Have you decided? You haven't decided where you're going to fly, or you're going to boat?
Not yet.
Or?
I'm still like on a waiting list.
Oh, I
Either
see.
I'm flying home or I'm taking the bus home.
Well, I hope you get a flight, because buses are not my idea.
I'm willing to.
They're not my idea of a day at the beach. You know,
that is so true. But
gosh, thank you so much for coming, Karen.
thank you so much for this great opportunity.
No, great. Thank you for coming, and thank you for what you're doing. That's a wonderful thing that you're doing. That's really great. And all you folks out there, thank you once again for inviting us into your homes. It sure wouldn't be any fun without you. Until I see you again next week, straight ahead.